We're seeing trade-offs being made, understandably, by founders that just want to build a good product. They want some of the characteristics of Web3, but they want it to be affordable. They don't want people to have wallets. They want account abstraction, we call it. So the experience feels like a Web2 experience. You don't have all these friction points. It allows them to acquire, retain users, and grow exponentially. But they then start to make some technical trade-offs for convenience. And again, like, we're pragmatists. We preach pragmatism to founders. But when this starts happening in aggregate, you end up with like a Web 2.5. Now, the question is that transitory or permanent? And the problem with Web 2.5 is that it is not censor resistant. And so we know already that the US and other jurisdictions are trying to clamp down. You know, MiCA in Europe is banning algorithmic stablecoins outright. So, you know, some of those things you can kind of understand why they might be concerned. But actually the threat is not necessarily Facebook or Meta or Google anymore. It's that Web3 is stuck in Web 2.5. And for every year it's in Web 2.5, it becomes more likely that it never gets to Web3 because it can be stopped, it can be captured, it can be acquired, right? So earlier we were talking about equity being back in vogue. Has all these benefits of shareholder provisions, also means it can be acquired very early on. Guess what? Harder to raise money now as a startup founder. Somebody comes along and goes, you know what? I'll just buy it. And we know what incumbents do in tech. You know, Facebook's been great at it. They buy it and they kill it. If it's a threat to the business model, buy it, kill it. You know, put it in a drawer. So state capture, corporate capture, especially in these market conditions, especially in this kind of regulatory environment, it's got very partisan now. I think that's going to happen in the UK, by the way. I think it's going to get more and more partisan in the UK as well. You saw a select committee recommendation to the UK government here that crypto should be categorized as gambling, whilst they're trying to make strides around integrating it into the financial system. So we're in a state of flux, and it's not necessarily like what Facebook's doing, because I think, as you said, you know, whoever we've seen with Facebook and Facebook Libra, you know, they are not allowed to create a cryptocurrency. You know, they can be stopped in a way that Ethereum couldn't be stopped. That Pandora's box is open. It's going to be forever open. We need more of those happening. So that's really the kind of core premise. And we list all these different things: precedents, legal precedents, regulatory precedents, technical decisions that are happening as people look to obfuscate, and Web3 and make it more usable. This is, for us, it's a guide to founders. They're making decisions every day, and in aggregate, that determines the future of the web. And I go beyond that, because what's not the web now? Like, the web is increasingly where you socialize, play, find your romance and life partner, derive an income. And so we've got to be very careful. I'm old enough and maybe young enough to be native to the Web 2 cycle. So I saw the whole social thing happen. I created one of the first social media agencies in the world, in Europe. We were very optimistic about that. We saw the Arab Springs happen. We thought, great, we're going to do away with this kind of mainstream media controlling political debate. We're seeing all these democratic uprisings. Like, look where we are now. Is the world better or worse for social media? It's debatable, right? Pros and cons. So we apply the same kind of mindset with Web3 and the open metaverse, which is, look, we think generally it's a good direction of travel. Like, these are the watch outs. As a founder, you're going to be making decisions. And if you end up with a 1 billion user company, that's going to materially impact the shape of the web. So, like, have a think about the kind of consequences, the kind of second, third order consequences of those decisions. So It's a toolkit for founders, but it's also, in a way, a kind of manifesto. I think I've always been uncomfortable admitting it, but the reality is it's very difficult to not look at Web3 as kind of a political movement in a way. In the end, it kind of is.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a raving libertarian, but it just kind of takes you in certain directions.
Yeah, when I start having digital property conversations with, Animoca brands, we're bang on to democracy almost right after that. And you look at the Bitcoin maxis and they preach, having this thing that's not fiat, and pretty much you're on to freedom of speech and property rights, which all of these things. So they're so linked.
And resisting them, I think ultimately in the US, the defense will be the same for cryptography. It would be freedom of speech. You can't censor, a particular network or participation in it, because that is censoring freedom of speech.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.